or good for a 10 minutes and whatnot. You know, we need to work on being convincing for a whole 90-minute period, in my humble opinion. But it is what it is. Well, it is in that regard. So let's review the game, people. Let me offer my thoughts on the game now. As I literally just said, people. As I literally just said, we've got to work on playing well for 90 minutes. You know, it was like two different games in that first and second half, respectively. You know, and again, as I just said, it makes me question what's going on. You know, again, we really struggled to create. I think, you know, Tavares is making a good run. Only a couple of players look on it in the first half. We're struggling to break down the low block. There's no movement. Don't look like there's a plan once the ball goes into midfield. It's very slow. It's very predictable. It's really lethargic. I won't say we're playing bad or atrocious, but you can't see who is going to score or how we're going to score. Second half, of course, there's an emotional reaction. The fans are getting behind them. The game's opening up as both teams get tired, but we're attacking both sides. First half, we're lopsided. Teams clock that. You know, we had Tomiyasu second half. Why do you think he got that assist? And we look dangerous because we're pressuring both sides. Saka's woken up. Our right-hand side non-existent in that first half. You know, Tomiyasu not overlapping enough. Saka, when he gets the ball, he's not being able to run at man. He's not been able to face man up. He's running into pedestrian stuff. Odegaard's playing okay. Need to see a bit more. I think Smith Rowe's a bit anonymous and a bit of a passenger in the first half. Tavares is making that run and he's doing well. But his decision making is kind of costing him because he's hell bent on trying to score a worldie. It looked like he's overcompensating in that regards. I did feel Newcastle early on with Joe Linton winning the headers looked like that could present an issue. Tavares, the space he was leaving in behind, because Gabriel was getting dragged into where Wilson was, it looked like there was stuff there. I think in the first and second half, we were quite open on the transition. And for me, in terms of game management, when we start to get tired, it's too easily to run past us. It's nice to obviously win. It's not considering we lost to Liverpool and get back to winning ways and get things on track and try and show that Liverpool might have been just a blip. Gives us a bit of insurance going into United, considering West Ham got City, Man United got Chelsea, Spurs look woeful and lost in midweek. You're hoping these sort of Leicester, Wolves, we hope these guys around us can drop points as well going into that game. It's a good reaction. Obviously, Tavares, you know, big vote of confidence, you starting again. I wouldn't have had you down to start today, but he did well. I think Lokonga in particular had a very good game. Tomiyasu, good game. Probably going to be forgotten because of, you know, the assist from Tomiyasu off the bench, goal from Martinelli, Saka waking up in the second half. But Ramsdale, you know, important tipped effort onto the post from Shelvey. And Newcastle did have a couple clear-cut chances. Both teams probably trying to appeal for a penalty. In our case, Gabriel Martinelli, don't think it is one. In their case, Tavares showing Wilson the weights. No, screams desperation with them man there. I think, as I said, this game was very different because no two games are the same, but it was quite similar to the games we've played at home where we've won, but we haven't been really good for 90 minutes or killed off the game or whatnot. I'm not complaining. 3 points, clean sheet, two goals from open play, assist from our fullback. Saka gets a goal as well, and Martinelli back from the dead. So our Martinelli stocks are going up, but we need to work on these sort of things, people. You know, again, there were chances, you know, this game coulda, woulda, shoulda is another thing, but this game could have went a different way. I look at the Watford game, one-way traffic. Once again, if King squares it for Sarr, it's a different game. If what's his face, what's his name again? If Cedric and Gabriel don't make them blocks against Norwich, it's a different game. Do you get what I'm saying? I think against the smaller teams, they're far from convincing. I probably have more praise for Newcastle than I have for us. Second half was superb from us, really and truly. But if I go all the way back to my thoughts, as I said, going into the game, you know, big opportunities because Aubameyang, I would have started you, but Lacazette arguably is the better striker right now, and you've been woeful in the last 2 games. Saka, I would have started him today, but there was, you know, you could have been dropped for a Pepe or something like that. Big vote of Odegaard coming into the team. 6 out of 10 for me from Odegaard. I see certain people making out he was trash, not true. People making out he's man of the match, again, not true. Big vote of confidence for Tavares, Aubameyang, Lokonga, Odegaard, and Saka. I wouldn't advocate dropping all of them because you kill any little fluidity and consistency we've built. But, you know, if we're talking about performances, these are guys that could start or probably shouldn't start. It is what it is. We needed a big game from these in particular, and that's what I said pre-game. I think Lacazette, unfortunate to be dropped, but I told you lot midweek I think that was going to happen. for the first 10 minutes, I think we had a lot of possession. We're in their own half. You know, they're rigid and stuff like that and conceding possession to us. But I don't really think nothing happened past that. We're moving it okay. I think we're getting caught on the transition. We've got sustained possession, but there's not enough movement. There's not enough consistently to break them down, really and truly. 20, 30 minutes, I think we needed more from Smith Rowe / our right-hand side with Saka and Tomiyasu. No coincidence, Saka ran over to the left-hand side and got closer to his men and did well there. You know, obviously, there was a fantastic ball from Odegaard. Not from Odegaard, Lokonga, where Lokonga was at full stretch. Don't know how Aubameyang's missed that chance he missed. You know, I know Aubameyang does miss tap-ins, but I mean, at this moment, he's taking a piss. And probably, you know, our captain has to get dropped if he's not playing off that left wing. I would say the best chance of the game was Shelby's at this moment in time. It's a fantastic effort from him, and Ramsdale gets another highlight reel to go with the free kick save and the rest of it, really and truly. So, yeah, we didn't do enough in it. At half-time, we need to up it. We need to do a lot better. It's looking predictable. Tavares is making good runs and is the only one doing it. He's taking shots. Lokonga's doing well, but we just need to step it up, man. We're not doing enough, really. So, at half-time, I'm thinking we need to worry about that space because, like I said, Tavares going backwards. He's leaving a lot on the transition, and I feel Wilson is clocking that. I'm kind of waiting for St. Maximin to wake up. For me, it's feeling like one of them games, these lot have one opportunity, score a goal, and then the game completely flips people. Again, at halftime, I found myself asking how Aubameyang missed that. I couldn't personally see where a goal was coming from, and it's another game where we're really struggling to break down low blocks or any team that shows a half-decent defensive unit. I did feel in the last 5 minutes of the first half, we did start to create one or too many chances. Tomiyasu starting to overlap. Tavares probably, you know, he looks like he's hell-bent on scoring a worldie. Newcastle look like he could present problems on the counter-attack, people, if I'm honest with you. I feel at half-time, creativity is coming from our uncreative players or whatever. And what I mean by that is, respectfully, I know the modern fullback needs to go forward, but I'm seeing Lokonga, Tavares, Tomiyasu, they're the ones primarily creating things. Ben White had a good game, especially in the first half. You know, Ben White can pass the ball and, you know, modern day fullback, like I said. But if these are the guys, then I'm obviously looking towards what's going on with Aubameyang, Saka, Smith Rowe, Odegaard. Again, you're going to be in trouble in that regard. And I just think at halftime, there's structural issues. There's a lack of movement. There's a lack of creativity. Our midfielders are limited. It's the same old. And I'm crying about creativity. I'm seeing Odegaard and Smith Rowe on the same pitch. So I don't know what's quite gone on there, people. Obviously, in the second half, there was a spring in our step. We came back a bit more ferocious, a bit more fire. Tomiyasu starting to move mad. Tavares is starting to move mad. Our midfielders want it a bit more. Smith Rowe's woken up. We're starting to play some good football, really and truly. And again, a good move kept alive. You know, again, everyone was involved. I think Tavares gets the assist, but Saka, Tavares, Smith Rowe, Lokonga, all involved in that first goal. It's a lovely goal, which ends up in Saka scoring. And Saka is waking up. Just before that, there was a lovely moment off the right-hand side. Two man try to get him. He kind of glided past them, went in between. He's taken a shot and, you know, Saka needs to improve his shooting. It was meaty, and it was old school Raheem Sterling / OBS, no power in the foot sort of thing. So we're starting to wake up, and it does make you wonder, why do we need a second half and things to kind of do this sort of thing? 1-0, you know, 1-0 to the Arsenal. We all remember the chance, but I don't feel comfortable with that, really, you know. And it was nice to see us get the second. It's a fantastic bit of play. Ben White gives it to Tomiyasu. I don't know what's better, the pass or Martinelli, because Martinelli's told him to do it, and it's good composure from the man, fresh off the bench. You know, they say Arteta has problems with his subs, myself included. He made it work, innit? I did feel, so yeah, it's 2-0 for the good, and ultimately we did our job. I did feel once again we're too open on the transition. I did think our game management, especially when we get tired, because they're just gliding past people. It's far too easily, in my opinion, and we need to know how to react to when we're getting tired. Ultimately, people, my ending thoughts fundamentally were our fullbacks were amazing, especially in the second half. Better second half reaction. Nice to get the 3 points. Good reaction from the Liverpool game, and obviously going into United and Everton and West Ham and Southampton. These next 4 games is where, you know, European football is going to be won or lost. I did feel again on the defensive transitions we was far too open. I think today once again highlighted limitations within several players in certain areas of the field, specifically within midfield and offering creativity there. The youngsters saved the day. Wanted to see a bit more from our experienced players. It's obviously nice to see Saka score. It's nice to see a reaction from Tavares. You know, you're a villain against Liverpool. You're a hero today, such is life. On that, I think Lokonga had a good reaction as well. Whole team, you know, Ramsdale made a good save. It's nice to see us get a clean sheet. You know, senior players stepped up in the second half. Need to see a bit more. But yeah, man, that all in all, we did our jobs. But it's still for me the same school of thought, or the same performances to a degree, how it was at Watford at home and Norwich, and that really we were untroubled. I know they could have had a pen. I know Shelby could have scored, but we really were untroubled. But it's still one where you're wondering. I think, like I said, it was a tale of two halves. You saw the good and the potential and everything, but you saw how games could be different. And against better teams, that first half might be where the game's lost, because we've been in them situations there. The game's written off after the first half, and then we start playing in the second. You can't afford for that. So ultimately, we got over the line. I'm not going to complain. You know, we've set the tempo. It's midweek games now. Again, at this moment, it's 3 o'clock. So the 3 o'clock kickoffs are kicking off. So we'll have to see what goes on in those things. But we did our job, really. You know, all you can do is win what's in front of you. Not a convincing win. A lot of concerning moments. A lot of positive moments as well, you know. But yeah, we did our job. We got over the line. It is what it is. Oh, 2-0 Newcastle reaction. Make sure you're hitting the like button, people, and setting your reminders for tomorrow. Man United versus Chelsea, which is there. So yeah, that's that. That's how I feel about that. Love from live from the Armory, DG. They got Super Jack and Per Mertesacker signing programs. Make sure you get that, man. Why question Arteta on Pepe? Pepe has been largely crap for us. We are fifth. Trust Arteta. I didn't say a damn thing about Pepe, but you know, in the same way, if he came off the bench and scored that goal, man, I'm gonna say the same things about Martinelli, man. I'm not seeking any controversy here, but I felt the 50-50 calls went against us. Well, to be fair with you, we could sit here and say the same thing about Lascelles. You know, you're always going to say that when you've been working hard, when you've played well, and you've thrown it away in the second half, when you can't find a win, you're going to say that. Eddie Howe, you just need to go back to the drawing board and focus on your team, you know, realistically. That's not going to get you out of relegation, you know. Gabriel saying 2, 5 or 10 minutes, I'm ready to play. That's what you got to do, man. Respectfully, players are young, unproven yet. One reason why they are slow to start, they are learning to grow into the match. Expecting the club to steamroll anyone from the start is overly hopeful. I'm not expecting that at all. I'm expecting these good or bad moments, but these lot are old enough. These lot are old enough to know these things. You know, the whole team. You know, it's not just necessarily the young squad. It's the whole team. You're at home, set the tempo. You know, you're old enough to know football. It's not too different. Some of you have played academy games. You need to start off strong. And again, it's not even a young thing. We've been in the, if you're playing games that have been a bit similar, some of you need to stop and look left and right. It's like, why is this happening? What are we doing, sort of thing. It's one of them. But generally, I think we did all right in that game. And I think Ben White and Gabriel was all right. I think Lokonga and Partey had decent games, more so Lokonga. Smith Rowe was a bit tired, but he came to the fore in the second half. And obviously, you saw the link-up play. Saka woke up in the second half. Aubameyang is very concerning, and to be fair, I think he starts against Manchester United, but he probably shouldn't, and it should be Lacazette, and it's it's just a miss. Like, how? Jota scored in the second minute, by the way, against Southampton. You know, I know Liverpool are quick starters, but bloody hell, yeah, bloody hell. But that's that. We'll get into the player ratings in a sec. Saka said we needed to be patient against the block. That's not a slow start. That's being patient. As fans, we need to understand the difference. Players being patient, fans being impatient. I hear him, but I don't think it's that. Like I don't think it's that. We're not being patient because we're trying to be patient. Like, does anyone I hear Saka, and I hear what the players are saying. But as a fan of what I'm saying, a fan of what I'm seeing, do we think we're being patient and we're not scoring and putting that game to bed because we're trying to wait for the moment for these lot to tire? I don't think so, because we go back to Newcastle last season under Steve Bruce. You know, we struggled to break them down. Steve Bruce tried to go more attacking in the second half. I can't remember if it was the league or the FA Cup, but it was at the Emirates, and then they messed it up. So I hear Saka with that, but these are the same things. Again, I hear him, but I've just said Watford today, Norwich. That's 3 games. Now, I don't believe in coincidences. I believe in patterns. Are we being patient against any low block? Because you arguably started faster against Liverpool, You started faster against Spurs. Respectfully, why are you going to do that against them? I know there's the emotional feel behind it, but why are you going to start off like that? And then you're playing little man that can't even get a win. Respectfully, Newcastle. I don't understand how Arteta isn't rating Pepe like that. Towards the end of last season, he was arguably our best player. He was, but we can't rest on laurels. I don't, Aubameyang should be dropped now. We can't keep carrying passengers. I just want 3 points. Partey was average today. Yeah, 6 out of 10, 5, 6 out of 10, man. Lokonga was a bad boy today. Class above Partey today. They may be old enough, but the experience and quality isn't there. It's a thinker's game, man. I'm not looking for quality. I'm looking for mentality, and I see people with less quality and the same ages as them. You've played enough games to learn from mistakes. I just think it's a bit of a cop out, respectfully. I do think there's that, but there's also the other side. How many games are we going to play for that to happen? It's merely a coincidence. And like I said, if you lot got analytical teams, if you lot really watch your games again, you've watched enough. This is why generally when people say Tavares this or Lokonga that, I hear the fact that they're young, but you're old enough to learn from your mistakes. If I'm a centre half who's 19 years of age, right? I'm playing against, I don't know, let's say Newcastle today. For the last 5 games prior, I've been bringing the ball out from the back, probably holding on to it one too many times, and I've got away with it. If I don't get away against Newcastle, have I not been learned? Have I not needed, is it an age thing? Or should I have been, have I known that it's in the back of my head and decided to? Old habits die hard. It's difficult, but this is the next level, really and truly. I think it's merely coincidental. When I see you play like that in the second half, maybe that was your game plan. I think that's dangerous because the game could have been killed. What would have been said if Shelby scores them? The game's flipped on its head. Your game plan of being patient. Beat up your opponents and then deal with that. I'm not asking you to go out and blitz teams 4-0 after 10 minutes. I'm just saying why does it take probably Arteta talking to you to see more movement, to see an extra 10%? If anything, you should start a game like that, like Arsenal used to, and then flatter to deceive. But it is what it is, man. We got the win. It's a game where, there's a lot we could have done better, but ultimately, we won, so who really cares? Same old issues, though. Martinelli proves he needs more game time. Saka caused problems when he was given a bit more freedom. Personally, I think Saka caused a lot more problems when Tomiyasu's overlapping and our midfielders were a bit braver in possession. If one person makes a run, it's dead. Like Tavares in the first half. Tavares hung to the touchline. But in the second half, you saw Tavares hug the touchline, Smith Rowe get into the pockets, people on the other side start to make movements. Martinelli for the second goal, the break for obviously, I think Gabriel and Lacazette messed it up, but the break for that, you need consistent movement. People were starting to think, he's made that run, let me make that run. You always got to think, and it looked in the first half like we wasn't quite doing that. And again, this is why I don't know if it's a tactical thing, a mental thing, or whatever, but we need to try and play well for whole 90 minutes. We're too topsy-turvy.